pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of SRM Valliammai Engineering College Management, our eminent principal, our respected vice principal, our beloved head of the department, our dedicated faculty members, and my personal behalf for the guest lecture on Walking to Repair and Rehabilitation of Structures in association with Institution of Engineers and the ISTE Faculty Student Chapter. The guest speaker of our today's session is our blessings. We hope that the participants are able to seek a more practical exposure and imbibe something from his thoughts. I am happy to introduce our guest speaker. He has obtained his BE Civil Engineering from Madras University in the year 1999, Masters in Structural Engineering from Government College of Technology in the year 2004. He has work experience of 19 years. Presently, he has served as a Deputy General Manager, Structural Division, Roads and Bridges, L&T, IDPL, Chennai. He has received the award for Above and Beyond Call of Duty in 2013 to 14 in L&T. Also, he received the award for Best Design in the Bridge Construction of 6.2 kilometers long elevated extra-strutted bridge in Nasik. He has developed and delivered design and drawings of major bridges, minor bridges, flyovers, ROBs, and culverts. He has delivered structures with a reduction in maintenance cost of 20 to 30% during operation phase. He has delivered new technology of CFRP laminates rehabilitation system in retaining the old bridge serviceability, meeting its design life period. He has delivered technical papers on the bridges and rehabilitation systems, facilitating the construction team for speedy completion. He has guided many UG and PG students for the project work and for in-plant training. He has delivered many guest lectures, workshops, and seminars to the young engineers of various engineering colleges and universities. Now I would like to hand over the session to Mr. Ravi Kumar sir, Deputy General Manager, L&T Chennai.
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Thanks for your warm welcome speech. It's my great honor to be part of this session. And I thank Lima madam for giving me this wonderful opportunity in meeting all the upcoming young and energetic engineers who are dreaming to become design engineers and who are dreaming to become entrepreneurs and who are dreaming to become develop high-rise buildings or to get an expertise in the infrastructure. But however, my dear friends, today our journey will be on the special topic called Repair and Rehabilitation of Structures. Friends, I bring to your kind attention that this is the field where you have enormous opportunities to get into, and you can walk into and shine yourself and bring all your energies in terms of whatever you have learned from your 3rd semester till your 8th semester. Friends, you please keep in your mind that constructing or creating a new object is easier, but to retain that object, the object may be of concrete structure, or the object may be of steel structure, the object may be of building, residential buildings, or multi-rise, high-rise buildings, or bridges, or dams, whatever may be the type of structure, but retaining the structure in meeting its durability, serviceability, and ensuring its design life period is more important. Friends, the word durability is playing a vital role in the field of civil engineering. I could bring your kind attention of the advertisement of Duracell. The advertisement of Duracell is showing you is competing its product to the next product with terms of its durability. The term durability, if you are able to achieve the durability, then certainly the life period of the structure will be extended. So henceforth, your concentration should be more towards, not only towards the strength parameter, you should always focus towards ensuring or achieving the durability. Friends, another important term that I just want to bring during this our discussion or journey under this topic is serviceability and the quality. Friends, please keep in your mind the term quality or the word quality is not only belonging to site execution term. Friends, the term quality is quite common, or it should be ensured from your drawing room. Because I just want to recollect that the language of civil engineers are through drawings. So the communication between the designers or between the detailings and the site execution team, it will be through drawings only. So therefore, please keep in your mind, my dear young boys and girls, that drawing is the language of civil engineers. So if you are able to deliver, I'm using the word deliver, if you are able to deliver with whatever the detailings that you have learned in your classroom, starting from engineering drawing semester 1 or 2 till your 8th semester building drawings, then those are the things that are going to help you in creating more wonders in terms of whatever may be the different type of structures that you are going to deal with. So therefore, the quality should be ensured from the drawing room. Your drawing should be qualitatively enough that should be read and understood by the site execution team. Your detailings, particularly the detailings, friends, irrespective of the strength, the material, the concrete M40 or M50 or even M100, but if you are failing in delivering a good detailing drawings, please forget that you cannot achieve the strength. So henceforth, please, I request, after this our journey in the next 1 hour under this topic, please, I always recommend to all my young boys and girls and young engineers, please refer or study the reinforced concrete design or a steel design or the creation of cross section or detailing for buildings. Please refer the respective code book. The respective code book should be parallelly referred. It may be, the code may be of IS 456. The code may be of IRC SP 34. IRC SP 34 is the code that deals with the reinforcement detailings. So henceforth, please, I always, after this our journey under this topic, please, I always say the students who spend more time in 2 L's. One L is for library and another L is for lab. So the students who are spending more valuable time in the library and the lab, they will be shining like anything, and they will be welcomed by the industry with a red blanket when you come out of your 8th semester. Because the industry, what we look is not only the marks. The industry, we look for the skilled engineers. You should be skilled enough. When the product that you are coming out, you should be skilled enough to meet the industries. Industry doesn't want you to create the wonders from the day one. The industry is expecting every engineer that are coming from the engineering or coming out of the engineering colleges should have the basic skill. So if their foundation is very strong, then you will definitely shine like anything in whatever the field that you enter. So friends, with this brief discussion introduction, I just welcome each one of you to my session, Walk into Repair and Rehabilitation of Structures. Friends, the first slide, you have 3 GIFs. One is a run out and another one is a healing the sprain. The another one is creating an object. Friends, please keep in your mind, under this topic, repair and rehabilitation of structures, you have to be very quick enough in identifying the problem. The timely identifying the problem and timely curing the problem will always ensure the life period, design life period. What is the design life period of a concrete structure? Can anyone say? Can anyone open the mic and say, please, my dear friends? Madam, can I raise this question, madam, to your students? Lima, madam?
Okay, sir.
With your
Okay,
permission?
sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Friends, what is the design life period of a concrete structure?
50 years, sir.
Students at the
Sir, it is
student
50
stage,
years,
don't
sir.
feel shy.
50 years.
You should come forward, whether wrong or right. You should come forward. See, the design life period of a concrete structure
Sir, it
is
is
always
50
100
years,
years. Earlier in 1960s or 50s or 70s, the design life period of concrete has been assumed as 50 years. Now it is we are designing for the bridges, the infrastructure in front of your colleges, all the highway structures, bridges, at the Vandalur junction, that flyover, even at the other rotary section at Tambaram, Sriperumbutur. Because I'm just saying all these examples so that you can correlate, because every day you are crossing all these highway bridges. So all these has been designed for 100 years period. So if you want to retain that structure for 100 years service period, your maintenance has to be ensured precisely. Maintenance means routine maintenance, periodic maintenance, and special maintenance. So what is repair? So friends, these are the two different terms, repair and rehabilitation. We should never mix these two terminologies. Friends, as an engineer, we should be, or you should be in a position to differentiate by seeing the distress or deteriorations in the concrete, whether it requires repair, or it requires rehabilitation, or it requires a combination of both, repair and rehabilitation. So what is the repair? How you can differentiate these two terms, repair and rehabilitation? So repair is the process of restoring something that is damaged or deteriorated or broken to good condition. Friends, you are just, it is going just something like you are sealing it. If you are seeing a crack on a wall or a beam, you are going to seal it. You are not going to add anything value addition in terms of strength. So repair is something, a process, you are restoring it, you are sealing the damage or deterioration and bringing it to the good condition. That's it. Now, whereas the rehabilitation, rehabilitation is the process of returning a building, a bridge, or any structure or an area to its previous good condition. Friends, that in the process of rehabilitation, you are going to involve in the terms of adding strength to the component. The component may be of beam, column, foundation, slab, or whatever it may be. You are involved in the action of adding strength. So when there is a process of adding a strength to the structural components of a building or a bridge or a steel, anything, then that process is called as rehabilitation. Friends, in both repair and rehabilitation, you are going to bring back to its good condition, and it has to be the design function. It has to meet its design function, its intended design function. That should be ensured. Now, I just tried myself to correlate the Tirukural to our today's journey. That is, Noi Nadi, Noi Mudal Nadi. Adu Tanikum, Vai Nadi, Vaipachaya. What does it? The Kural says, நோயாளினி உடல் மாற்றங்களால் வந்துள்ள நோயை இன்னது என்று அறிந்து அந்த நோய் வருவதற்கான மூல காரணத்தையும் அதை தீர்க்கும் வழியையும் அறிந்து அதை போக்குவதில் தவறு வந்துவிடாமல் மருத்துவர் செயல்பட வேண்டும். Friends, here the engineers are doctors and your patients are your structures. So whenever you have been invited to give a solution for the deterioration or distress in a concrete structure, the first and foremost thing that the engineer has to do is you have to make inspection, visual inspection, step one. collect the data, collect all the previous data, the load configuration, understand the drawings, and understand the materials that are involved in that building structure. Then map the problem, what you are seeing visually, map it. If you are visualizing some cracks in the beams, you have to create a rough sketch, map the crack, whether the cracks are inclined, diagonal, or horizontal, or vertical, or it is only in the front face, or in the bottom face, or in the side face, or the crack is propagating in all the four side faces, or whether the crack is propagating from the beam to column or from the beam to slab. So all the detailings has to be collected and mapped exactly what you see visually. Okay, my dear friends. So mapping of details is very important. Then you cannot or you should not come to a immediate remedial measure by just seeing the crack, because all cracks are not structural cracks. Friends, please keep in your mind, all cracks are not structural cracks. The duty of engineer is to crack the cracks. Please keep this sentence. You are being called by your customer to crack the cracks. How you can crack the cracks? How, sir, you can raise a question, sir, how can I identify a crack is a structural or non-structural? Friends, it's quite easy. There are two important terms that to understand the crack. One is width of the crack and another one is depth of the crack. Friends, if you are able to measure the width, because the code itself is giving the limitation for the crack width with reference to the environmental condition. Friends, if your structure is going to be designed and constructed in the environmental zone of medium or a very severe, then the crack allowable width is 0.3 mm. If it is very severe or extreme environmental condition, the allowable crack width is only 0.2 millimeter, 0.2, 0.2 and 0.3. The code itself is allowing. Sometimes the engineers, you will be dealing with designing a cracked section as well as an uncracked section. So one item is crack width. The another item you have to measure is crack depth. Whether that crack depth is within the cover concrete or whether the crack width is present beyond the cover concrete. Whether it is going beyond the cover means whether it is extended into the structural concrete. Friends, please keep in mind, cover concrete is not at all a structural concrete. Cover concrete is a concrete that has been provided on the beam, slab, column and the foundation of any structure, is to protect the concrete, the internal structural steel and the structural concrete which are confined within the steel from the environmental effect. Okay, so as a doctor, you are going to play the role of doctor. Your patient is your structure component or a building as a whole. So you have to collect all the details, map the details, and understand the load configuration, and understand the materials, and understand whether the problem is been recurring frequently, what is the period of the problem. Then you identify the source, because any methodology that you are going to put in front of your customer should ensure that the recurrence of the problem should never happen. Friends, that is the duty or that is the professionalism of the civil engineers, that the solution should heal permanently. That's what we are going to see pictorial representation as well as through videos. Friends, the entire presentation is being made with some bullet points, with the tabular flow chart and with videos and photographs. Okay, so you are going to play the role of doctor, and how the doctors are asking the question with the patients. How much duration that you are undergoing this pain, well, whether he is checking the tongue, eyes, and he is checking the beats, a heartbeat through the stethoscope, and pulse, and blood pressure, and even he is just with his palm he is used to press the abdomen to understand the whether swelling is there, where he will ask where the patient whether are you feeling any pain when I press it. Okay, the same way, my dear friends, when you are dealing with your structure, you have to inspect at the touching distance, and how can you identify whether the concrete is having some hollowness. If it is something like, I'm just showing an example. If you are able to hear a bell ring sound by this test is called tapping test. When you tap the surface of the concrete element, the element may be beam, column, slab, and when you are able to hear a bell ring sound, then that area, the portion where you are tapping is sound. That means there are no hollowness, no honeycombs, no cracks inside. Suppose if you are while tapping, if you are hearing the sound like wooden, then that portion where you're tapping behind, there is some hollowness, honeycombs, cracks. That's why you are hearing the sound of the sound. So that shows that this small tapping test by using a hammer, you can easily identify the soundness of the concrete on the surface. Okay, so, and the next thing is you have to develop after identity. Suppose if you are not convinced with all the details during your inspection and collection of data, if you want a confirmation how the doctors are going, they are recommending for x-rays, ultrasonic, some ultrasound, CT scan, MRI scan, or some blood test. Same way that engineers, you have to go for some test. That test is called as non-destructive testing, NDT. Without causing any destruction, without causing any disturbance to its performance, you are going to do the test. That test is called as non-destructive test. So henceforth, you are going to play a role of doctor. You are going to heal the distress, or you are going to heal the deterioration of the component, and you are going to create the smiles on your customers. Okay, so therefore, based on all this information only, and after identifying the source, you have to correlate the entity test result and your visual inspection mapping detailing. You have to correlate. If you see some of the lab test reports of your blood samples collected, they even the scan report, they will write one line, correlate with the clinical representation. That means your clinical, the patient's pains of sufferings, pain, and the doctor discussion with the patient, and is visual testing of like a pulse, like blood pressure, like the abdomen pressing, identifying, all this has to be correlated, and I will identify, okay, this is the problem, and for this problem this is the medicine. The same way, you have to identify, you have to correlate the lab test entity and your site inspection detail, and after correlating, you have to identify the source of the problem. Then the remedial measure, that whatever you are going to put forward, that should act as a permanent solution to the customer. And you have to develop step-by-step methodology, and you have to identify a suitable material and identify the suitable workmanship. You have to create all these details and you have to present it, and that is what we call it as a qualitative presentation. We have the quality in presenting all the detailings. Then after completing all these paperworks, that comes the execution part. So when you are dealing with the execution part, there also the term quality plays an important role. What are the causes of deterioration? So the deterioration may be due to corrosion, environmental effects, poor quality material used, and quality of supervision, design and construction flaws. So everywhere, if you are ensuring the word quality, then there is no problem. Okay. There should not be any blame game in when you are dealing with the structure. The site engineer should play a vital role in bringing the exact detailings what he is receiving as good for construction drawing, and in case if he has any doubt, he has to immediately discuss with the designer, and any changes are required that has to be changed at the site in concurrence with the designers. Friends, please keep in your mind that word ownership plays an important role. When the paper moves from your drawing room, you have to take the ownership. If the concreting is being completed in the beam, slab or foundation, the ownership has to be taken by the project engineer. Our focus should not be just like completing the structure alone. Our focus should be the life period of 100 years has to be ensured. If you go to your native place, even in today, in your villages, there may be some houses which may be imprinted with this building is being constructed in 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. Those buildings are giving a strong message to the upcoming engineers that even you are involved with the high quality materials, high strength materials, high sophisticated equipments, high-fi technology, the workmanship that you do, the mechanism that you involve. However, if there is a failure or if there is an error in the quality of implementation, then irrespective of whatever may be the hi-fi mechanism that you put in for in the workplace, that will not achieve your design life period. That will it will show the problem within a short period of 1 year, 2 year or 3 year. Even today, the high-rise buildings are facing the problem of basic problem during a rainy season, the water leakages. What is the problem? Sir, I have used I have used M40, M50 grade concrete. But within a period of 1 year, when during every monsoon, the customers are facing the problem of water leakage. The walls are becoming wet. Where the problem is? As a young engineers, please ensure that quality has to be ensured at all levels. During execution time, you are fighting with the time. During execution time, you are fighting with the completion within the time. But there should not be any lagness or any what we can call it is any compromise in the quality by putting a blame on I have to complete it within the time. Nothing doing. The quality has to be ensured exactly the same what is been prescribed in the drawing. So this I just tried myself to bring it in a flowchart form related to assessment procedure for damaged structure. So first step is physical inspection. Please never do the mistake that, see, even though you are 20 years, 30 years experience, without inspecting the site, just by hearing the data, just by seeing the photographs, what you receive, don't come to any conclusion. Please, minimum one visit. Spend adequate time at the site, understand the problem, understand the configuration, every details. Minimum one to two visit is essential. The number two, preparation and documenting the damages, collection of samples and carrying out tests both in situ and in lab, studying the documents, including structural aspect, estimation of loads, estimate of environmental effects. Sometimes you may be involved in designing the structure without understanding where the building or the structure is going to be executed, whether it is going to be executed very close to the seashore, whether it is going to be executed very close to the industrial area. So whether it is going to be executed in the seismic zone 3, 4, 5. What is the wind speed? So all these details, the designers has to be very thorough with rough, and even where the foundation is going to come. Don't, without soil investigation, don't take any risk in just identifying that okay, this we can go for this isolated footing or open foundation or a raft foundation or a combination of raft and at least minimum 1 or 2 bore holes. Please understand the soil characteristics and then decide where your foundation has to be placed at what depth. Okay. Then diagnosis, taking preventive steps, retrospective analysis to get the diagnosis confirmed, assessment of structural adequacy, estimation on future use. Whenever you are involved in any buildings or bridges, highway structures, future use also to be taken into account. Even the customer may be constructing for ground floor alone in the present stage, but you at least for G+2, the building has to be the loading consideration, because the dead load is a predominant load which the building, the structural component is going to carry. Okay. Then remedial measure necessary to strengthen and repairing the structure, post repair evaluation through test. After repairing, the monitoring plays important role, maintenance plays important role in ensuring are increasing the life period even after repair. Then load test, if required you can carry out some load test. Then finally choice of course of action for restoration of structure. So we'll move on to the next. Then classification of repair. The classification based upon damages on 1, 2, 3, 4. One is superficial, general, principal, and major. And major only. Sometimes the major repair, there are so many methodologies available in terms of rehabilitation or retrofitting. But however, the cost, friends, why I have shown in this front slide, the third one is the pottery making. Repair and rehabilitation is an art. A-R-T, art. It is a repair and rehabilitation is a serious business. Because you are going to retain the structure and bringing back in a good condition, ensuring its intended design function. Okay. So therefore, costing also plays an important role. If the cost is exceeding, then sometimes you have to go for some demolition and reconstruction, partly or fully. Okay. Next, repair and rehabilitation structures are carried out in the following stage. Number 1, removal of damaged concrete, pre-treatment of surface and reinforcement, application of repair material, restoring the integrity of individual section, and strengthening of structure as a whole. See the following factors to be considered while repairing of concrete structure. One is the cause of damage, the source, why the problem is coming. Then type, shape, and function of the structure. That is the configuration, load distribution, what is the purpose of that building. Each and every data collection has to be ensured. Then the capabilities and facilities available with the builders. Friends, you cannot say reason to the customers that I can deliver only this much costly remedial measure. I cannot come out less than this. That cannot be. What is the capacity of the customer, and what are the materials that are available locally, and what are the mechanisms that are available locally with the existing system. You have to come out with the effective repair and rehabilitation methodology that can work at site. Okay. Then finally, the availability of repair materials. You cannot say you have to import, nothing doing. You have to develop a scheme that can work effectively within the data or within the system available. Okay. The next comes in this slide, you will be seeing, so I just tried to bring out some salient points in the concrete repair procedure. Determine the cause of damage, evaluation of damage, to identify need and method of concrete repair, application of repair method selected. Because friends, when you are developing the repair methodology or rehabilitation methodology or combination of both, you have to develop various options with reference to cost. Okay. Then there should not be any inadequate in workmanship. Whatever the step-by-step procedure that you are evolving, that has to be ensured at site by the engineer in charge. Then the method of repairs, as I said, all cracks are not structural cracks. Okay, so some cracks may be dormant cracks, but that means that even though there may be crack, it may be a facial crack, it will not have any impact on the durability or serviceability or safety of the structure. Some cracks may be active. That means it do not remain constant width but open and close. That means whenever the load comes, the crack may open and close, open and close. That we call as active cracks. Then another one is growth cracks. That is the width keeps on increasing with reference to time. Okay. So you should be in a well position to identify under which category the cracks that you are visualizing or your customer is complaining can be categorized. Now, you have to identify, even though I have apprised or evolved with all detailings, but still the customer is complaining, the problem is recurring. So you have to understand what are the causes for premature failure of repaired concrete structure. One is specify or diagnose the cause. You may not be identifying the damage or source of the problem exactly. Then you may not be in a position that you have not selected the exact repair material or exact repair techniques methodology that is required to meet the problem what has been identified or you are visualizing at site. Then poor workmanship, then proper surface preparation. Friends, whenever you are involved in the repair and rehabilitation, the surface preparation is playing a vital role. So the surface preparation has to be ensured by the engineer in charge at site as picturized or as per the procedure given in the data sheet of the methodology. Then damage of concrete close to a defected due to the utilization of heavy equipment, cutting of steel bars. See, when you are involved in the repairing of corrosion of bars, your steel bars which are good adjacent to the repairing portion should not get affected. Okay. Then insufficient transfer of loads, poor practice of placement of repair materials, inappropriate preparation of concrete base surface. Friends, when you are going to deal with the chemical products, so the mixing of chemicals has to be ensured as exactly what has been prescribed in the data sheet. Here I am using the word data sheet. What is the data sheet? Data sheet or the technical specification sheet provided by the respective manufacturer of the chemical product recommended by the engineer. Now, how the deterioration occurs due to corrosion? One is spalling of concrete cover, cracks parallel to reinforcement, spalling at edges, swelling of concrete, dislocation, internal cracking, and reduction area of steel reinforcement. Sometimes you can see the crack may be developed along the reinforcement. Suppose if in case of column, the crack may be developing vertically downwards. That means the crack may be developing along the main bar. Sometimes circumferentially also. That means along the stirrups. Even if in a beam also, along the main bar means that is perpendicular to the neutral or parallel to the neutral axis, the cracks may be developing. Sometimes the spalling of concrete may take place. So when you look closely into the exposed reinforcement, the rebar may be of corroded. Because friends, when the corrosion started in the reinforcement volume increases 5 times. So when the volume of the steel increases due to corrosion action, the tension is getting developed along the length. Because of the tension development, because the concrete is in weak in tension, the crack is developed along the length of the bar. And since the volume is getting increased due to the corrosion, it pushes the outer concrete. That is the cover concrete. That's why you are seeing the spalling. Now we will see a small video. Friends, if you have any doubt, you can please put your questions in the chat box, or even you can raise your question at the end of the session. We will see a small video that will enhance or facilitate you to understand the process of corrosion, because corrosion is an electrochemical process. See, I'm just keeping silent, okay? So see, the volume of steel increases due to the corrosion action, and it just pushing the cover concrete, and see the tension is developed along the length of the corroded bar. So immediately cracks are developing, and when the volume increases, it pushes the outer concrete. So you will be seeing the cracks and spalling of concrete. You see, now the concrete is spilled out. Now, because due to the action of corrosion. Okay. I hope this video would have made you to understand better about the corrosion. Now the next thing is about the carbonation effect. What is carbonation effect? The effect due to carbon dioxide. My dear friends, the pH value of the concrete is just like your immune system. In the present situation, you are being advised to increase or keep your immunity in a high to protect yourself from the microorganisms or from the infection. The same way, the pH of the concrete is protecting your structural concrete which are embedded within the structural steel, and the pH value of the concrete also protects your structural steel from the environmental effect or from the carbon dioxide effect. The new concrete will have a pH value of 12.5 or 13. But when once your concreting is completed after removing a shuttering, it is exposed to the environment or atmosphere. So from the day one onwards, the environmental effect will keep on attacking your concrete surface. First, it will attack your surface concrete. If you are not having or maintaining a uniform cover all along the length of the bar on all sides of the member, then wherever the cover is inadequate or less, then the designed required cover, then those areas will get infect very easily, and the rebar will get corrode easily. So therefore, the pH value keeps on reducing from 13, and when it reaches less than 9, then your corrosion is started. Then the steel bar will get affected very quickly. Once the rebars are getting affected, your area of rebar or steel requirement will get reduced. Then you will get failures. So therefore, it is always essential to protect your concrete from the environmental effect, as illustrated in this picture, by maintaining a uniform cover. The cover has to be ensured by the engineer in charge at the site. That means adequate cover blocks at adequate location are has to be ensured before concreting is taking place. Now, I'm just correlating this example. Now, in the present situation, we have been all asked to wear mask covering the two entry points. One is your nostril point and another one is your mouth. So, when in the same way, when you are providing your cover block adequately at adequate location, then your concrete will not be very quickly or easily get affected by the environmental effect. Whereas, even though you are wearing mask, but partly wearing and partly exposed, then you will be easily infected by the microorganism. The same way, when you are, even though you provide cover block, but not at adequate location at adequate numbers, then if you are not maintaining uniform cover block, at some location, some 40 mm, 50 mm or 30 mm is maintained. At some location, it's only 10 mm or 5 mm. Then those areas which are having very less cover or inadequate cover, those will be easily get infected and the problem starts. You can see this, how the rebar are getting corroded. See, you can see here. Sometimes you may see like a peeling of concrete. If you just by taking a small stainless steel scale, 1 foot scale, which you are using in your drawing room, and just you push it, this concrete peeling concrete, you will be seeing the exposed corroded bars. You can see crack development along the reinforcement. See, you can see cracks parallel to the member, vertical cracks. That means the red bar color lines are the main bars, yellow are the horizontal bars. Your crack development is parallel to the red bars. That means along the wherever these cracks are observed, the rebars behind that cracked location would have been corroded. The next problem is leaching. Leaching is sometimes we call it as a lime whipping. It is caused by water leaking through the concrete. Friends, concrete is having already a calcium hydroxide. So when it is getting dissolved in the water, and when it is exposed to the carbon dioxide, this calcium hydroxide reacting with the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, it forms calcium carbonate. So this calcium carbonate, on the evaporation of the water, you will be seeing the white patches, white salt deposition on the surface of the concrete. I just given a photography example of the salt deposition on the t-shirt. Even our kids, when they play in the playground for several hours, and when they go out to go to a home, your mother will be saying that after the t-shirt gets dried, the white patches will be seen on your t-shirt or even in the collars of the shirt. So those the same way here also. So here, this whenever you see the white salt deposition, how it can be removed is you can wash it with a dilute hydrochloric acid. That is dilute HCl. You have to wash it thoroughly, and sometimes you can chip off the salt deposited surface concrete completely, wash it, then you do the repairing one. Unless or otherwise the source of water leakages is stopped or put to an end, the recurrence of leaching will take place. So once this, because concrete is a porous material, so this salt will easily penetrate inside and it will cause huge damage to the structural concrete and structural steel. That is corrosion. You can see here the white salt deposition, and because of that the surface concrete is peeled off and exposing the corroded parts. We will see a small video. See, sometimes in the video some chemical manufacturer may be seen. Why means at the student stage you should also available what are all the different manufacturers available in the industry who are producing various repairing products. So this video will be showing you or facilitating you to understand how to repair your corroded bars. See, one of our friend has asked how to determine whether the crack is a structural crack. See, it's very simple. As I told in the discussion earlier, you have to measure first thing is width of the crack and depth of the crack. Then these two parameters will help you to identify whether the crack is a structural crack or non-structural crack, and the pattern of the crack, that is mapping of a crack, and also the depth of the crack. You can ask me, sir, width of the crack you can measure through crack microscope or crack scale measurement. How I can measure the depth of the crack? With the help of ultrasonic pulse velocity equipment, you can identify the depth of the crack. Or even you can take some core samples perpendicular to the crack and you can identify. Suppose if you are taking a core sample of 40 mm, then if your crack is been propagated only 5 mm and 10 mm, then the cracks are well within the concrete, cover concrete, so you need not to worry. But if the width of the crack is more than the allowable codal allowable crack with reference to your environmental condition, then you have to take a call on repairing the cracks, because grouting is a methodology where you are injecting some material, injecting a chemical material to seal the crack. That's all. You are going to seal the crack, nothing else. But if it is going to be a structural crack, you have to do a structural repairing or rehabilitation method. That we will be seeing various methods. So whenever you involved in the repairing a corrosion bar, you have to remove all the corroded portion and you have to measure the diameter of the bar. If the diameter of the bar, loss of the diameter bar is more than 20%, you have to replace that particular section. Corrosion bar, you have to cut it and you have to replace with a suitable diameter of the bar, and the lapping has to be followed as per the code requirement needed for that particular member at that location. If you are not able to use the winding bars, you can weld it. Another question, how to analyze the codal books relating towards interview. Friends, it is quite easy. You are when you are dealing with RCC design in your 5th semester or 6th or 7th semester, you will be studying IS 456. when you are dealing with the design of steel structure, you will be dealing with your steel code. Where then the another code is IRC SP 34, where the detailing part of the rebars will be given. How to the detailing part, connection between a beam to beam, beam to column junction, slab to column junction, slab to beam junction. How to give a detailing for bracket. Friends, cantilever beam design is different from bracket design. Please don't ever never make a mistake of design a bracket with a cantilever beam design. It's totally you will be meeting a structural distress if you are dealing with a design of treating a bracket as a cantilever beam. Okay, then you have to identify whether your beam is a deep beam or a normal beam. So IS 456 is the mother of concrete beam design. If you are dealing with the bridges, you have to refer IRC, Indian Road Congress. You have IRC now. We have IRC 112 code, that is limit state code. We have IRC 6, that is the code for giving the how the loads to be positioned, what are the limitation of stresses, and all other parameters. Then you have a IRC SP 13 for minor bridges. Okay, so if Lima Madam gives me a permission to take for design of bridges, that is a separate topic. When Madam gives permission, that in a separate session I will definitely share all the information. Now, whatever we are seeing, whatever the problem that we are going to discuss in our today journey, are quite common for both bridges and buildings. Madam, I need another 15 minutes, madam. Kindly bear, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Friends, sorry for taking time, please. Sorry for taking your precious time on Saturday evening. So, friends, honeycombs. And whenever you are coming up with a honeycomb, it is a complete erroneous problem with the site people. The ownership of the honeycomb has to be taken by the site in charge. Because when the drawings are released, whether the drawings are released with the presence of honeycombs, no. Then how these honeycombs are problem happening? It is because of the problem with the workmanship at site. So whenever you are dealing with honeycombs, you are only just plastering on the surface alone is not a treatment. It is something like you are having a wound on your palm or your hand. By putting your shirt over it, just covering the wound is not going to heal it. It is something like plastering over the honeycomb is not at all going to put an end to the problem, because honeycombs are the location where your strength will be very poor. Your drawing paper may say M30, M40, M50, but at the honeycomb area only aggregate will be there. No cement. So why it is happening? Because of insufficient fine material, because vibration. Friends, whenever you are using needle vibrator, you have to follow all the steps. The vibrator should not just like zzz on the top surface. It has to go to the bottom level. The cement mix, தமிழ்ல சொன்னா அந்த சிமெண்ட் பால் வந்து கடைசி எண்ட் வரையும் போணும். Madam, with your permission, I'm just talking in Tamil, madam, if you don't mind.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Same way, your shuttering should not leak your concrete when you're pouring the concrete. It should be very tight enough. Then poor mixing or improper vibration, leakage of grout or mortar, all these will lead to honeycombs. So, okay, you can ask me, how can this slide will give you the more details or additional details of the honeycombs. Now, how I will treat the honeycombs? The procedure is, you have to chip off all the loose concrete materials till you reach the sound concrete. I am using the word till you reach the sound concrete. Then you apply a bonding agent. Then you apply your repairing material. Friends, if you are not reaching your sound concrete, then the recurrence of problem will come. So you have to, till sound concrete or good concrete, you have to chip off all the loose material. The why you need a bonding agent, because it is something like with the old parent material, the new repairing material has to stick on. Bonding should be there. This should not act like a two independent material. So your bonding agent, you have to use bonding agent. Bonding agent are available in the market by the manufacturer Fosroc, Sika, BASF, and so many manufacturers are providing the under different brand name bonding. How paracetamol tablet is available in different names, Crocin, Dolo, and so on. Same way, the bonding agent you have to use. Sometimes inside the preparation of the parent material may be done with by spraying water, that is by making wet. That also can be done. But without bonding agent, don't never do the repairing work. So these are the photography of honeycombs. So whenever you come across this type of problem, please use your chip of all the loose material till you reach the sound material. So strictly speaking, whenever honeycombs are observed in concrete, the affected area should be broken and the portion should be reconnected after applying grouting chemical to the old surface. That means a bonding agent has to be ensured. Friends, the usage of bonding agent, I am using the bonding agent, I am spraying the bonding agent. Okay, fine. Within how much time I have to apply my repairing material? That is another question. Friends, if you take an example with before the bonding material, it should be in the form of sticky. Before it becomes hard, you have to apply your repairing material. Okay. That is the example can be given as the when you are pasting the cinema posters on the wall, you will preparing some glue, no? That stickiness has to be there before it gets hard. Okay. So see, even this presence of honeycombs also will lead to corrosion, because honeycomb, it is something like a, you are welcoming the effect of environment, you are welcoming the penetration of moisture, you are welcoming a penetration of carbon dioxide inside the rebar, and you are converting good steel into a corroded steel through the process of corrosion. So honeycombs always reduce the load bearing capacity. Okay. It will reduce the strength also. So when you're treating, please don't forget, you have to chip off all till you reach the sound concrete. That is the most important step you have to do. The next is scaling. That is washing off the surface material, only exposing the aggregate. So whenever you come across this, immediately you have to repair it, seal it, so that when the aggregates are only exposed, then the effect due to carbon dioxide or moisture penetration will take place very easily, causing corrosion. So quality control, this we have discussed earlier. Now we will see another video of how to groove cut the crack. Always whenever you are involved in crack groove cutting, it should be of like in the shape of V shape. Sometimes, friends, when you are doing V-groove cutting, there may be some hollowness in there. You can see some voids. That means those area will be are having some honeycombs. So those area has to be chipped and repaired properly. Now we will see a small video of repairing a crack through material called Sika product. So these are the various different manufacturers available in the market to treat the problems. Friends, side by side, whenever you feel you have any doubt, you can side by side, you can post your comments in the chat box. See why here they are using first before injecting the grout material inside the cat. Why they are creating outer protective layer means when you are injecting, the material should not come out. So you start injecting. Friends, this injection material you can use epoxy resin or you can use PMC polymer modified cementitious mortar also. But epoxy resin will always have add value because this epoxy resin is a low viscous fluid. So during repairing procedure also you have to follow the curing period as prescribed in the data. We'll move on to next. Now comes the strengthening part. That is, you are going to add strength to the component. So the strength can be, now we have a different mechanism. One is, you may be hearing the word term jacketing. Then next, now presently, the usage of fiber reinforced polymer system, FRP system, is widely used in the site because the workmanship is very easy and you can complete it within the time and you can achieve the designed strength very easily. And it doesn't, it require only a surface preparation. It doesn't require any add any damage to the existing system, only surface preparation. And you can just like how you are pasting your courier cover with the tape, the same way it will come in the form of like how you are seeing a cloth when you enter a cloth store, the pant cloth bit, how it will be in the rolled form, no, same way it will be like a cloth form in a sheet form. And even in addition to the sheet form, it also available in a laminate. Whenever there is a shortage, suppose you have some old buildings that has to be strengthened, the beams has to be strengthened, the column has to be strengthened, slab has to be strengthened to meet the present high load condition, then you have to be you will be in a position to add some additional reinforcement. It is not required to go with the jacketing method by chipping off all the steel, surface concrete and add additional layer of steel and concrete it. You with the existing surface, but just by doing surface finish, you can paste the laminates that as per your design, what is required, additional area of steel required, that additional steel can be met by using carbon fiber reinforced polymer laminates. We will be seeing a slide. This slide describes about the FRP advantages, fiber reinforced polymer system. This FRP system has to be protected from the UV rays. So therefore, you have to paint after completing the job. You have to paint on externally with a UV paint. So you have a different types of FRP system: carbon, glass, aramid. As per your site requirement, you can choose the material. So this slide will describe about the mechanical properties of FRP with reference to tensile strength, elastic modulus. So carbon, you have 1025 MPa, Newton per mm square, to 2075 Newton per mm square, tensile strength. See a small video of usage of why we have to go for FRP. I'm sorry. It is not necessary to use only Sika product. You can use Fosrock, BASF, any other product. This video is going to help you to understand between a cylinder without FRP wrapping and with the FRP wrap. Now the cylinder with FRP system is undergoing the compression test. So the value is doubled when you use the FRP system. That is why in the present cases, for easy workmanship and to complete very quickly and to achieve the desired strength, nowadays in most of the rehabilitation system, FRP system is preferred. But the most important thing is the engineer in charge should be well aware in which direction the strengthening has to be made. Suppose if you are going to add strength value in terms of flexure, then the wrapping should be made in that required direction. If you are going to add value in terms of shear strength, then the wrapping has to be wrapped in the direction of shear. So the orientation of providing the FRP system is very, very important. So this slide will describe about that orientation with reference to what type of strength you are required. Similarly for our slab. This is another video showing how to use these FRP laminates. Ma'am, only 2 to 3 videos, madam. I will complete it, madam.
Okay, sir.
Here the beams are going to be as the value addition in terms of shear. Friends, here you can see the holes has been created, provision has been created for anchoring the FRP laminate into the slab. This is what we call it a surface preparation. Then this is called as mixing of the material. Then the mixing has to be done using the mechanical mixer. It should not be mixed with the by using a stick or a hand, by using your hand. It should be always the material should be thoroughly mixed, because the laminate should be pasted over the primer. First one layer of primer, the next saturant. Between the primer and saturant, if the data sheet, that material specification data sheet is specifying any Q period, that time has to be maintained. Then after providing a saturant, your laminate has to be pasted. Because this laminate and the concrete, the bonding will be through these layers only. See, whenever you involved in this type of material, all the products will be of same brand. If you are using Sika laminate means chemicals for pasting, that should also be of the same manufacturer. It is something like how you have been asked to do. First vaccination is with Covishield means second dose also should be Covishield. If it is first is with Covaxin, second dose also at the 28th day should also be Covaxin. It should not be one dose Covaxin and one dose Covishield. Because even though both are vaccination against that viral infection, viral microorganism, but the chemical is different. Chemical combination is different. Okay? That completes the FRP disruption. Now, the next methodology rehabilitation is through steel bonding, steel plate bond. I am explaining videos, photographs means this will always understand the concept. The steps involved in the various mechanisms of repairing and rehabilitation can easily understand. And when you come to the knowledge, you will get up in the area of repair and rehabilitation. You can easily move forward. Whenever you are involving in action of drilling, you have to ensure that drilling action does not disturb the existing or does not cause damage to the reinforcement inside. So to avoid that conflict between the drilling hole and the existing, you have to use scope or cover meter. That is something like a scan equipment and refer to the IRCS guideline for repair, strengthening and rehabilitation of explain that cover meter postcode says if you scan from surface, it will show the regions that are present on on the surface of the tree. It will not show the inner layer, layer of the This is called tapping. There should not be any void inside. Now then next one is, this is a conventional method, jacketing. It can be used to increase shear strength, flexural strength. This is a pictorial representation of jacketing of column. The jacketing means you are increasing the additional reinforcement and the geometry, or the size is also getting increased. But when you are using this reinforcement additionally, it should be anchored in meeting its desired designed anchoring length into the another concrete member. Now this video is about the jacketing. So this is all, whatever the video that we have seen so far are related to rehabilitation. That means you are adding strength parameter. In the repair, you are not going to add strength. So first step is prepare the surface. Second step, mark the new reinforcing bar location. If it requires any anchoring, accordingly it should be drilled. So the drilling action should not cause any damage to the existing reinforcing system. Step 4, clean. That you have to apply, blow air so that no foreign particles should present inside. Step 5, inject the epoxy. Step 6, insert the reinforcing bar and allow the epoxy adhesive to cure. Step 7, fixing the longitudinal transfer reinforcement around the existing columns. Step 8, install and fixing formwork. There should not be any leakage during concreting. And even during concreting, the shuttering should not get damaged. Step 9, so you have to provide a drilling ports in the formworks. Here you cannot use a bonding agent, but however it has to be washed thoroughly with the water. To get a strong bonding agent, should take the advantage pressure of water to clean the pores and saturate the prepared surface. Step 11, mixing the pre-packaged repair. Friends, nowadays, because the repair and rehabilitation, sometimes you may be involved in a small quantum of work. So in that case, you cannot go for a RMC plant and get the RMC truck. So nowadays, ready-made packs of repairing products in terms of packets are available. Even you can use micro concrete, that is GP2 material, which you can achieve the strength with high strength within 1 day, say 25 to 30 Newton per mm square within 1 day. Step 12, completing the sequence. So that's end of the jacketing. Friends, this is the photograph. I just want to bring to your kind attention. What is the necessity of providing the stirrups on the outer surface of the main bars in the beam as well as in the column? Friends, the definition between the beam and the column is, beam is immediately the answer will be beam is a horizontal member, column is a vertical member. In addition to that, please add this point also. In the beam, the load will be always acting perpendicular to its neutral axis. So it will undergo bending. That is why you call it as a beam is a flexure member. Whereas in the column, even though column is a vertical member, the load will be acting along its neutral axis. That is why whenever it is subjected to load externally, it will undergo not bending. We call it as buckle. So to whenever it is going some external, that is, if you see the definition of Poisson ratio, lateral strain by longitudinal strain, whenever you apply a load, the object will expand always perpendicular to the load action. If you take a beam, if you apply a load, the beam will undergo the expansion in the lateral. Same way, if you apply a load in the column, the column member will expand in the transverse direction, perpendicular to that. That means when the load is expanding, that has to be it has to be holded firmly. How the holding can be done? If you provide stirrup inside and main bar outside, if you apply the same load, same buckling, same expansion will happen in the perpendicular to the load action in the beam or a column, but the main bar will not be holded if you provide steel inside. That means I'm putting another important word, that is confinement. The stirrups is not only playing a role of shear, it also playing a vital role in terms of confining, holding the main bars firmly. That is, in one of the movie, Kamala Hassan used to say, Kattipudi Vaidyam. That is, whenever you come from the hostel, if you go to your home, your mother with a lot of love, she is coming and holding you very firmly. You cannot come out of that hold for a few minutes or seconds. The same action, confining, holding tightly the main bar. So in addition to the shear, the another important function of shear, the stirrup is confinement. Please don't forget this word, confinement. Okay, I'm just correlating this photograph and this. Okay, you please, why these wires are binded on the outer surface of these wooden sticks? Why the wooden sticks are not tied on the outer face by keeping the wires inside? You just compare these two, both are same. So prevention, maintenance, this is a separate. I'm just moving a little bit fast. This we have discussed. Remedial prevention is better than cure. So you have to do routine, special maintenance. All the maintenance plays important role in ensuring their durability, serviceability, and safety. So inspection plays another important role. So you are going to play a role of doctors, how they examine the same pattern. You have to examine your structures. In our portfolio, we use MBIU, Mobile Bridge Inspection Unit, to inspect structures. So we have inspection, routine inspection, periodical inspection, pre-monsoon, post-monsoon. So this is the slide describing about the maintenance process. So when you do inspection of building, you have to do condition of wall paint, condition of paint on woodwork and grill, condition of flooring, roof leakage, etc., condition of service fittings, drainage form, terrace, growth of vegetation. Friends, growth of vegetation is strictly prohibited in any concrete structure because the roots will certainly affect the strength. Structural defects like cracks, settlement, deflection. So this is the flow of the bridge management system. Collection of inventory, periodic inspection, assessment of condition and strength, prioritizing allocation of funds, prepare, strengthening and replacement, then you are ensuring safety. So this is the standard data sheet, pictorial representation of the type of deterioration. starting from leaching, erosions, cover, vegetation, deformation, honeycombing, spalling of concrete, corrosion of steel, and so on. So finally, friends, we have come to an end of this our small journey. I tried my best to share with you related to this walking into repair and rehabilitation of structures. So since we are living in a the critical pandemic period, so all the health protocol, safety measures, please follow. Use always say mask covering both the nostril point and your mouth. Whenever you are moving in crowd, wash your hands frequently. Keep yourself healthy by eating more vegetables, fruits that which can retain your immunity. God bless everyone. All the best. Wish you great success and have a nice weekend. Thank you, ma'am.
Sir, I'm student of SRM Valliammai Engineering College, currently pursuing final year civil engineering, and my name is Sandhya.
Very nice,
And
madam.
my question is, so nowadays we can see that vertical vegetation growth is adapted in ridges, especially in Chennai, sir. The
Madam,
need,
have you seen very closely the vegetation, whether it has been planted inside the column concrete or it is just fixed on the outer face by putting
no, sir,
some
it
clamp?
is actually fixed on the outer face. But
Ah,
my doubt is they are, mean, they're
please,
watering the
ma'am, please,
plants
ma'am.
using the treated sewage water, sir. So whether it may cause any effects on the concrete in future like that, sir, then how can we protect that those
Fine, ma'am.
things?
So, madam, vegetation growth on the concrete surface is strictly prohibited. No compromise because the roots will cause damage to the concrete strength. Okay. Now, all the plantation, as I said, it is only a showing to the public that is eco-friendly. Okay. Now, whenever you use water, nowadays there are some plants which can grow with the impure water also. We have such type of advanced agriculture system, plantation system, horticulture. We can use the term horticulture system where less quantity, even you need not to require water itself. Even in the presence of moisture itself, it will take all the energy with the help of sunlight, and whatever that the photosynthesis process will takes place. And even sometimes the horticulture system, we have in our own system, we have horticulturalist. We have a separate division horticulture. Experts are available because if you see any highway, you have a median where vegetation is grown. The purpose of vegetation in the median, madam, I will answer your question also. I'm just trying, even in front of your college, there is a NH45 running between Chennai to Madurai or Trichy highways is there. Even you can see a median is separating both left hand side, Chennai to Tambaram to Chengalpet and Chengalpet to Tambaram direction. That median will be having a plantation. The purpose of plantation is not only for eco-friendly, it is having another important engineering that is adding value to the drivers, that the vehicle users, protecting the opposite, the lighting, particularly in the night time. The light use high power light headlight, that lighting effect will be minimized or completely avoided, causing damage to the opposite vehicle coming very closer to in the next lane, that is left hand side. Okay, that is the major purpose of providing plantation in the medium, in addition to giving a environment friendly atmosphere. The another system is any water contaminated. That is why our theoretically speaking, we have to use always potable. We use the word potable water. Madam, you are agreeing with that? All concrete has to be prepared with potable water. That is why whenever you prepare water, concrete, the water has to be tested. Environmental, that is what you will be doing in your laboratory. I hope your HOD, who is an expert in environmental, he knows better than me. So he will help you in that. So you will be doing the water quality test, and it should be free from all contaminants which will damage the concrete and steel. Okay, madam? And always the concrete should be in dry condition. So whenever the water is splashing on the concrete during watering, it should be immediately cleaned, wiped off and made dry. Because any small hairline cracks that will help the water to penetrate inside. It will not, the reaction will not take within a day. It will take its own time, years. But damage once it caused, the repairing is, it will be a costly process and a very painful process. Okay, madam. I hope I have clarified you. Is it okay, madam?
Yes,
Are
sir.
you
Thank you, sir.
convinced, madam?
Sir, I'm having some additional doubt to that.
Please, you are free, madam. You are free. You please don't think this is your classroom. You, this is as a friend. You please ask me. I am always here to help you.
No, sir. Actually, we are. You have explained about the plants, vegetations we are growing in meridians because to cut short those reflections of opposite
Yes.
vehicles
The highway.
in highway.
Suppose in the flyover, madam, if you go to the elevated flyover, in most of the metro cities, elevated flyover, you can see anti-reflecting the reflectors will be provided along the median, so that the left hand side carriage, right hand carriage, particularly in the night time, the high beam headlamp will not disturb the opposite vehicle. Where in the median, in the bridges where you cannot grow plantation, in such location you will be using anti-reflecting materials that are readily available, which we ourselves we use. Okay, ma'am. It is a compulsory as per our MORTH, Ministry of Road Transport and Highway. You have to use wherever you are not able to provide the plantation, median plantation.
Yes,
Okay, ma'am?
similarly, if we are adapting these vertical vegetation growth in bridges, piers, means what are the benefits, sir? Not only for green, we are spending this much amount, no, sir. So
No
for
other
me,
benefit.
we
No
have.
other benefit, madam. Only I am making aesthetically appearance good. That's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, my name is Kavin. I'm doing my structural engineering in Valliammai Engineering College.
Very good. Very good.
So, regarding this follow-up to this question,
Ah.
let me ask one more question. About the vertical vegetations which are kept there, we do know that CO2 plays a major role in carbonation corrosion. So, because of the vertical vegetation, is there a chance, the CO2 is like absorbed by by the plants, or is it just for ensure, sir?
Sir, good name, sir.
Sir, my name is Kavin.
Sir, Kavin sir, please try to understand the system where you are seeing is in metro cities, okay, where your pollution is very high, okay, the damage caused by carbon monoxide released from your vehicles, okay, the quantum of effect by caused by these vegetations are very lesser. And nowadays we have a lot of plantations where it will not emit carbon dioxide. That's why horticulture will come into picture. Okay, sir. And moreover, sir, I just bring your kind attention. Have you seen the all the bridges in our Chennai city, or even in our the bridges in Vandalur, Rotary Junction, Rotary Bridge, Vandaluru, and even now in Tambaram, Krompet, Pallavaram. Then if you go to Chennai, opposite to Chennai airport, I'm just giving a live example. Okay, my dear friend. Huh? Then the Katipara, all are painted externally. What is the purpose of painting externally? The one is your cover concrete, you are providing adequate cover. The another one is painting externally. Painting externally is an additional protective coating barrier. Okay, sometimes you have to renew your painting coat every 5 years or 10 years. So these are all additional barriers, that one is cover and another one is external coating, which will help you to protect your system which are inside. That is, one is structural steel and another one is structural component which are confined or embedded within the steel. Okay.
Okay, sir. You accept. You is my answer is
Okay, sir.
you are able is convincing you.
Yes, sir, it is. Thank you very much.
Sir, you can think of why our Chennai metro bridges are not painted. Have you thought? I leave this question to you. Please discuss with your respective faculty members. Why it is not why it is not been painted? That too in Chennai or even in Delhi also. Delhi very high pollutions are there. Why they are not painted? I leave this question to you, friends. Please think it out. Okay. Any other question, please? Friends, a more important thing is you might have all done your cube test in your laboratory. Why the cubes are undergoing cracks? Why? Why the first impression is crack development? First impression in the cube when it is undergoing compression test, it is showing crack formation. First impression. Why the cracks are developing? What is the reason behind it? What is the reason?
Due to excessive loading.
Ma'am, that is fine, ma'am. But what is the reason for crack formation? Just crack formation. You see, concrete is very strong in compression. Then why the cracks are forming?
Sir, but weak in tension. So while
Exactly, madam. There you are. It is very weak in tension. Exactly. I really appreciate you, madam. Your good name, please.
Shiva Sandhya, sir.
Very nice, madam. That is the exact answer. Friends, please don't forget in your lifetime, concrete is weak in tension. That is why the first impression is crack formation. When the load is exceeding its tensile limit, what is the formula for tensile limit? 0.7 root FCK, where FCK is the characteristic strength of concrete. It may be of M25, M30, M35, 40, 50, whatever it may be. 0.7 root FCK is the tensile strength. So when the tensile strength exceeds, immediately concrete will show its pain is expressed in formation of crack development. Thank you, ma'am. Very nice. Why we are using sand in this mortar mix? It's another important. If you apply a cement paste, the raw cement plastering on the wall, then if you add a suitable quantum of sand in this plastering, then you apply it, you see the difference.
Students and faculty members, if you have any doubts or clarifications further, you can mail Lima Rose ma'am, and ma'am will actually reach out with the questions to sir, and we'll get back with you with the answers. Okay. Now I would like to express my sincere thanks to Mr. Ravi Kumar. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us such a wonderful session. You have enlightened the thoughts about all the concepts and strategies related to both repair and rehabilitation. And to mention, that was truly impressive the way you actually linked Thirukural, the COVID mask, to the actual theme of our session. Thank you, sir. I herein mention my heartfelt thanks to our management, our esteemed principal, our prominent vice principal, our beloved and the most dynamic person, our head of the department, Dr. D. Ilango sir, for giving us this opportunity. And I also take up this opportunity to thank the coordinator, Dr. Lima Rose ma'am, for arranging this session for us. Thank you, ma'am. I also express my gratitude to all the participants, faculty members, and students who've joined in with us today for this session. Thank you all. And participants, I've actually posted the feedback link in the chat box. I request you all to fill in the form and submit it. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you, sir. And thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable session.
It's my pleasure, madam. It's my pleasure, madam.